Hello, friends. My name is Vishru Davinna, and I come from civil service background. Prior to my civil service stint, I had also worked as an assistant professor at a university. I'm currently a faculty with An Academy, the most happening place in the country today in the field of online quality education. And today I'm going to talk about something very special for you, that is different forms of governments. Whether a government is a federal government or a unitary government or confederal government, what are their distinct features and how do we distinguish one from a government from another, and what are their so to say specific features. And we shall also in this video talk about what system prevails in India and what are the major characteristics of our kind of federal system and where from we have borrowed this federal system. And also, like, I will give you examples about various forms of government so that you get to have a better idea and clearer understanding and are able to write a better answer in UPSC main examination, and at the same time it will help you in preliminary examination. And certainly, and nowadays there is a lot of emphasis of UPSC in the field of governments and particularly forms of governments as far as Indian polity and governance is concerned. So let's get cracking, and let's start with the subject, the talk of the day. That is, as I have shown here, the federal, confederal, and the unitary forms of government we are going to talk about, जो कि अति महत्वपूर्ण विषय है आजकल जो पैटर्न है यूपीएससी का उसको देखते हुए। तो सबसे पहले इस स्लाइड में हम देखेंगे कि फेडरल, यूनिटरी और कन्फेडरल सिस्टम्स का एक कंपैरिजन मैंने यहाँ पर दिखाया है कि जो संघीय और संघात्मक व्यवस्थाएं होती है, फेडरल सिस्टम्स जिसको कहते हैं, फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट, वो नॉर्मली पावर इज शेयर्ड बाय अ पावरफुल सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एंड स्टेट्स और प्रोविंसेस that are given considerable self-rule, usually through their own legislatures. Examples: the United States, Australia, the Federal Republic Germany. तो ये सब संघात्मक व्यवस्था के उदाहरण हैं। संघात्मक जो फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है उसके एग्जाम्पल्स हैं। उसका आइडियल एग्जाम्पल जो फेडरल गवर्नमेंट का लिया जाता है वो अमेरिका लिया जाता है। और इसमें और भी कुछ चीज़ें जानने की है कि जैसे अमेरिका में जो संघात्मक व्यवस्था बनी, यानी कि फेडरल गवर्नमेंट जो बनी, फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन दैट केम इनटू फोर्स ऑन 4th of March 1789, लेकिन उसके पहले वहाँ पर जो है वो कन्फेडरल व्यवस्था हुआ करती थी थोड़े समय के लिए। तो वो कन्फेडरेशन जो बना था, कन्फेडरेशन फेल हो गया था। आर्टिकल्स ऑफ कन्फेडरेशन लिखे गए थे, वो फेल हो गए थे। और उसके बाद में स्टेट्स ने मिलकर के ये डिसाइड किया कि वो एक नवीन संविधान, न्यू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का निर्माण करेंगे। एज ए रिजल्ट ऑफ दैट द प्रेजेंट यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन केम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस। तो ये समझने की बात है कि संघीय व्यवस्था जो है, जिसका आदर्श उदाहरण अमेरिका दिया जाता है, उसके पहले वहाँ भी कन्फेडरेशन एग्जिस्ट करती थी। उसको हम अभी विस्तार से समझेंगे। तो फेडरल व्यवस्था को भी हम विस्तार से और समझेंगे, लेकिन इतना सफिशिएंट एज ऑफ नाउ जानना कि इसमें पावर जो है, पावर्स का डिवीज़न होता है और पावर्स जो है वो यूनियन गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स के बीच में शेयर की जाती है। और यूनिटरी जो सिस्टम होता है, यूनिटरी सिस्टम में देर इज़ अ वेरी पावरफुल सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एंड देर आर हार्डली एनी रीजनल और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स, एंड इफ एट ऑल दे एग्जिस्ट तो वो central government only, the union government only gives some powers to them, but it can withdraw those powers at any time. Means the union is all powerful. The union is all powerful, and the regions or the states or provinces are totally at the mercy of the union. जैसा कि हम देखते हैं कि पर्टिकुलरली जो कम्युनिस्ट रूल है वो कम्प्लीटली यूनिटरी रूल होता है। तो अलग अलग एग्जाम्पल्स यूनिटरी सिस्टम्स के हैं डिफरेंट डिफरेंट कंट्रीज़ में। वन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल्स वीकर स्टेट्स इफ एट ऑल दे आर देयर। तो वीकर स्टेट्स आर हैविंग वेरी वीक गवर्नमेंट्स आर देयर। At the provincial level, the central government is all powerful. Power is not shared. between states, counties or provinces. The examples को देखिए, China, which is a communist state, so it's a unitary state. United Kingdom, although Scotland has been granted self-rule, however, United Kingdom is a very classical example of a unitary form of government, where there is sovereignty of parliament and all powers are vested in the central government. Then confederal system की बात करते हैं, तो उसमें weak और loose organization of states होती है. They agree to follow a relatively weak central government, यानी कि different states मिलकर के और एक कुछ पावर्स सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को दे देती है. तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को जो पावर्स दी जाती है, नॉर्मली वो पावर्स नहीं होती जो स्टेट्स को स्वयं को ज़रूरत होती है. तो स्टेट्स जो हैं या प्रोविंसेस जो हैं वो काफ़ी पावरफुल होते हैं, इंडिपेंडेंट होते हैं, और कन्फेडरेशन जो है वो रिलेटिवली वीक होती है. तो उसमें नेशंस कैन चूज टू फॉलो और नॉट टू फॉलो the lead of the weak central government. Examples यदि लें, Commonwealth of Independent States जो formerly USSR हुआ करता था, Commonwealth of Independent States, that's a very good example of confederation of states. Also Switzerland's canton system and the Confederate States of America जो 1861 से 1865 के बीच में थी, तो वो भी during the anti-slavery war, some of the southern states, they formed a confederation, and that was known as Confederate States of America. And they started fighting. After seceding from the Union, they formed the Confederation. And then they started fighting with the rest of the American states. So that was about that specific period during which this war was there in America against slavery. Now, if we try to understand conceptually, then you can understand that in the case of a federal government, the central government and the state governments or the provincial governments, they have a two-way power flow. That is, central government delegates powers to the states, and states can also agree to part with their powers and create a powerful or strong center. So it can be both ways in the case of integration or disintegration. In the case of integration, the states unite and they form a powerful central government, as is the case with America. In the case of disintegration, the central government actually parts with some of its powers and gives those powers to the state governments. So power flow is both ways. Direction of the power flow is from central government to the provincial governments, as well as from the provincial governments to the central government. So it is a two-way flow of power, and that is the major hallmark or distinction of the federal systems. And if we see the unitary system, then central government is all powerful, and central government only gives some of the powers to the provincial governments or state governments at all. But these state governments are totally at the mercy of the central government. As and when it likes, it can withdraw those powers. So power flow is only one way, or there is no flow of power at all. Basically, in the communist systems, as we know, that there is only a single party rule, and it is a completely unitary system, and the regional governments are extremely fragile and weak, and they are totally at the mercy of the central government. Now, confederal system, on the other hand, the power flow is from the states to the center. So states part with some of their powers and they create a confederation, and states are independent by themselves. And some of these powers, some of the powers which are belonging to states, actually, they part with these powers for a better coordination and resolution of common issues to the central government. So central government is a confederal government, and this confederal government basically is not, relatively speaking, very strong. It is rather at times weak, because the provinces never like to part with those powers which really make them powerful. So that is the major issue with confederation. And generally we find that as a result of that, confederations fail. But if they want to be successful in that case, they have to give substantial powers to the central government, and then it becomes rather more of a federal form of government. So confederal form of government, therefore, is a unique kind of government. And some of the examples of confederal form of government we have seen, like the Commonwealth of Independent States, which was earlier called the USSR. And also we have seen the canton system of Switzerland, and we have seen that what prevailed in America from 1861 to 1865, that is also a classical example of a confederal form of government or confederal system. So we can see with the help of this slide that these three distinct forms of governments actually can be conceptually understood with the help of this very easily, right? Now, और कन्फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट जिसकी मैं बात कर रहा था, कन्फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट, उसमें एक्चुअली क्या है, कन्फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट इज़ एन एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट्स. सबसे पहले समझने की चीज़ है, वो इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट्स का एक एसोसिएशन है. द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट गेट्स इट्स अथॉरिटी फ्रॉम द इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट्स ओनली. पावर रेस्ट इन ईच इंडिविजुअल स्टेट whose representatives meet to address the needs of the group. तो बेसिकली ग्रुप की नीड को एड्रेस करने के लिए डिफरेंट स्टेट्स जो हैं उनके रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स मीट करके वो कन्फेडरल सिस्टम का निर्माण करते हैं. अमेरिका, फॉर एग्जांपल, हियर वी कैन रीड आउट दैट अमेरिका ट्राइड अ कन्फेडरल सिस्टम बिफोर राइटिंग एन एंटायरली न्यू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. जैसा कि मैंने बताया, जो अमेरिकन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन व्हेन इट केम इनटू फोर्स, प्रायर टू दैट एक्चुअली they had tried a confederal system, and this type of plan didn't work for the United States because the states did not give the central government enough power to do its job. तो वो फेल क्यों हो गया वो सिस्टम? क्योंकि states did not give enough powers to the central government to do its job, and therefore they were forced to meet again and rewrite the constitution. तो द आर्टिकल्स ऑफ कन्फेडरेशन जो शुरू में लिखे गए थे उसकी थोड़ी बात करें. So the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union was an agreement among the 13 original states, right, of the United States of America that served as its first constitution. तो इसका जो फर्स्ट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेरिका का बना था रेवोल्यूशन के तुरंत बाद, वो एक कन्फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन था, फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नहीं था. फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बाद में बना. द आर्टिकल्स ऑफ कन्फेडरेशन जिसकी मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, दे केम इनटू फोर्स फ्रॉम 1st of March 1781 itself, after ratification by all the states. A guiding principle of these articles was to preserve the independence and sovereignty of the states. मतलब जो states थी उनकी independence and sovereignty को maintain करते हुए वो confederation जो था, जो central government, confederal government, उसको थोड़ी powers दी गई थी, but it was very weak. So the weak central government, जो central government बना था उसमें, that was very weak. Established by the articles of Confederation, received only those powers which the former colonies had recognized as belonging to the king and parliament. मतलब वही powers उनको दी गई थी जो former colonies had recognized as pertaining to the king or parliament, right? So that means कि जो power structure develop हुआ, that was not very practical power structure. As a result of that, it foundered or failed, मतलब वो कामयाब नहीं हो पाया. Failure of the Confederation due to a weak center, primarily as the Confederation Congress attempted to govern the continually growing American states. Delegates discovered, ये Confederation Congress ने कोशिश किया, वो जैसे जैसे अमेरिका के नंबर ऑफ स्टेट्स, स्टार्टिंग में 13 स्टेट्स थी, वो बढ़ने लगी, वैसे वैसे it became difficult to manage them. And manage them, discovered that the limitations placed upon the central government rendered it ineffective at doing so. जो limitations रहती है confederal government के अंदर, confederal form of government में, central government पे lot of limitations are there क्योंकि only certain powers have been transferred by the states to the union or to the central government, and those powers at times are not sufficient, right? If those powers are sufficient, then probably confederation can last longer. But in any case, in order for the confederation to be happy and healthy, there has to be two-way power flow. There has to be certain flow of power from the union to the center, and certain flow of power from the center to the union. But if the union doesn't have its own powers or doesn't have the power to actually govern the states in in its own way, then it will eventually not be successful, right? So, however, as more states became interested in meeting to change the Articles of Confederation. Articles of Confederation का मतलब आप ये मान सकते हो कि संविधान आरंभ होने के पहले जो गवर्नेंस की व्यवस्था थी अमेरिकन स्टेट्स की, तो वो आर्टिकल्स ऑफ कन्फेडरेशन से गवर्न होती थी। एक तरह का वो जो है संवैधानिक प्रारूप था उसका। मीटिंग वॉज सेट इन फिलाडेल्फिया in May 1787 and this became the Constitutional Convention, जिसके थ्रू नवीन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का निर्माण किया गया। And it was quickly agreed that changes would not work and instead the entire articles needed to be replaced. इसीलिए on March 4, 1789 ये जो डेट है वो एनफोर्समेंट ऑफ इंडियन अमेरिकन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का डेट है। द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ अमेरिका, द गवर्नमेंट अंडर आर्टिकल्स वाज रिप्लेस्ड विद द फेडरल गवर्नमेंट अंडर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। तो ये समझने की चीज़ है कि 4 मार्च 1789 को जो न्यू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन केम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस, it replaced the Articles of Confederation. Articles of Confederation. The new constitution provided for a much stronger federal government by establishing a chief executive office, chief executive, that is the president, courts and taxing powers. तो वो हमें मालूम है कि प्रेजेंट में फेडरल कोर्ट जो है, जो फेडरल कोर्ट है अमेरिका की, वो सेंट्रल कोर्ट है, जैसे हमारे यहाँ सुप्रीम कोर्ट है, एंड दैट इज एक्सट्रीमली पावरफुल, राइट। और उनके जो टैक्सेशन पावर्स है वो भी काफ़ी इनॉर्मस टैक्सेशन पावर्स है। तो बिकॉज दे डिसाइडेड फाइनली टू क्रिएट अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग सेंटर, और इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग सेंटर बन गया कि वो जो पूरा स्ट्रक्चर बना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का, वो एक फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में कन्वर्ट हो गया, कन्फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। तो कन्फेडरेट स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका की जब हम बात करते हैं कि कन्फेडरेट स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका, तो वो क्या है उसको भी ज़रा अंडरस्टैंड कर लेते हैं कि कन्फेडरेट स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका, द कन्फेडरेट स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका commonly referred to as the Confederate States or the Confederacy, was an unrecognized breakaway state that existed from February 1861 to May 1865। मतलब केवल थोड़े से अंतराल के लिए 61 to 65, February to May, that is 4 years and a few months, 3 months rather, and that fought against the United States of America during the American Civil War। जो स्लेवरी समाप्त करने के लिए अमेरिकन सिविल वॉर था, उसमें ये हुआ कि जो कुछ सदर्न स्टेट्स थी, सदर्न स्टेट्स जो है वो सेपरेट हो गई, उन्होंने कन्फेडरेशन बना लिया, और वो बाकी रेस्ट ऑफ द अमेरिकन स्टेट्स के साथ में उन्होंने वॉर फाइट किया। दैट इज व्हाट इज नोन एज द कन्फेडरेट स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका और कन्फेडरेसी। तो 11 स्टेट्स, अब उसमें ये 11 स्टेट्स with declarations of secession from the Union form the main part of the Confederation, Confederate States of America। वो कौन कौन सी स्टेट्स थी? कैरोलिना, मिसिसिपी, फ्लोरिडा, अलाबामा, जॉर्जिया, लुइसियाना, टेक्सास, वर्जीनिया, अरकानसस, टेनेसी एंड नॉर्थ कैरोलिना। ये स्टेट्स थी जिन्होंने कन्फेडरेसी बनाई थी। उसके बाद केंटकी एंड मिसूरी also had declaration of secession and full representation in the Confederate Congress during their Union Army occupation। थोड़े समय के लिए केंटकी और मिसिसिपी भी जो है, केंटकी एंड मिसोरी, वो भी इस कन्फेडरेशन का पार्ट रही थी। अब स्विट्जरलैंड का जो कैंटन सिस्टम है, उसमें द स्विस फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, ये भी समझने की बात है, ये कन्फेडरेशन का दूसरा एग्जाम्पल है जो मैंने बताया। तो इसमें द स्विस फेडरल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डिक्लेयर्स the cantons to be sovereign to the extent that this sovereignty is not limited by federal law। उनकी sovereignty जो है federal law से limited नहीं, right? Each canton, here it is, each canton has its own constitution, legislature, executive, police and courts, similar to the confederation, a dictatorial, similar to the confederation, a directorial system of government is followed by the captains। Directorial system, it is a directorial system of government is followed by the captains। फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट की हम बात करें, फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट की अब बात करते हैं, जो कि सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट है और इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ये हमारे लिए सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट है, फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट। तो फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट बेसिकली जैसे कि हम जानते हैं कि इसमें सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स के बीच में पावर्स का डिवीजन होता है। तो फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट स्प्लिट्स पावर बिटवीन इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट्स एंड सेंट्रल। The power rests in both places, and each gets its authority from a governing document like the US Constitution. Independent branches inside the central government may also share power. So, independent branches inside the union, inside the central government, may also share power. उसके बाद यूनिटरी गवर्नमेंट्स की बात करते हैं। Sorry. So, in a unitary form of government, all the power rests in a central government. Basically, unitary form of government में क्या है? All the powers rest in a central government. The country may be divided into states or subunits, but they no power of their own. For example, England depends on its parliament or legislative body to create and enforce the laws in the country. इंग्लैंड इसका एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल है यूनिटरी फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट का। अब फेडरल सिस्टम की बात करते हैं। पॉलिटिकल साइंटिस्ट हैव क्लासिफाइड गवर्नमेंट्स इनटू यूनिटरी फेडरल on the basis of nature of relations between the national government and the regional governments. By definition, a unitary government is one in which all powers are vested in the national government, and the regional governments, if at all they exist, they derive their authority from the national government. जैसा कि हम इसको अंडरस्टैंड कर चुके हैं। तो what does it mean to be federal? So a federal government, on the other hand, is one in which powers are divided between national government and the regional governments by the constitution itself. Powers are divided by the constitution itself, and both operate in their respective jurisdictions independently. यूनिटरी फॉर्म्स की यदि एग्जांपल्स की हम बात करें तो ब्रिटेन है, फ्रांस, जापान, चाइना, इटली, बेल्जियम, नॉर्वे, स्वीडन एंड स्पेन, ये सब में यूनिटरी मॉडल है। फेडरल मॉडल की बात करें तो यूएसए, स्विट्ज़रलैंड, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, कनाडा, ब्राज़ील, अर्जेंटीना, ये सब फेडरल मॉडल है। फेडरेशन जो वर्ड है वो फीडस वर्ड से आता है, लैटिन वर्ड, जिसका मतलब है कविनेंट और ट्रीटी और एग्रीमेंट और covenant. Covenant means basically an agreement or a treaty. Thus, a federation is itself a new state which is formed through a treaty or an agreement between the various units. The units of federation are known by various names, like states, as in the case of America, cantons, as in the case of Switzerland, or provinces, as in Canada, और रिपब्लिक्स एज इन रशिया। फेडरल और यूनिटरी फॉर्म्स ऑफ गवर्नमेंट के अंदर यदि डिस्टिंक्शन की हम बात करें तो वो हम इसको इजीली अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हैं कि फेडरल में ड्यूअल गवर्नमेंट, दैट इज़ नेशनल गवर्नमेंट एंड रीजनल गवर्नमेंट होती है, और इसमें सिंगल गवर्नमेंट होती है जनरली, दैट इज़ द नेशनल गवर्नमेंट विच में क्रिएट रीजनल गवर्नमेंट्स, राइट। इसमें रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होता है, इसमें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में भी रिटन और अनरिटन। इस रिटन फ्रांस के केस में लें, यूनिटरी फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है और रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, और इट कैन बी अनरिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जैसे कि ब्रिटेन के केस में है। डिवीजन ऑफ पावर्स बिटवीन द नेशनल एंड द रीजनल गवर्नमेंट्स होता है फेडरल सिस्टम में। देयर इज नो सच डिवीजन ऑफ पावर्स, ऑल पावर्स आर वेस्टेड इन द नेशनल गवर्नमेंट। देन सुप्रीमेसी ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होता है फेडरल गवर्नमेंट में, और यूनिटरी में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मे बी सुप्रीम एज इट इज़ इन जापान, or it may not be supreme as in the case of United Kingdom. अच्छा, फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशंस आर जनरल रिजिड, whereas in unitary form of government constitution may be rigid as in the case of France, or may be flexible as in the case of Britain. Independent judiciary is one key feature of federal forms of government, and यहाँ पे judiciary may be independent or may not be independent also, right? देन बाईकैमरल लेजिस्लेचर होता है फेडरल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट में. लेजिस्लेचर में भी बाईकैमरल एज इन ब्रिटेन. ब्रिटेन में बाईकैमरल लेजिस्लेचर है, यू नो, हाउस ऑफ कॉमन्स एंड हाउस ऑफ लॉर्ड्स. और यूनिकैमरल हो सकता है जैसे चाइना में है, वन पार्टी रूल इज देयर. तो मेथड्स ऑफ फॉर्मेशन ऑफ फेडरेशन में दो तरह के मेथड्स होते हैं, बाय वे ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन और बाय वे ऑफ डिसइंटीग्रेशन. इंटीग्रेशन इन द फर्स्ट प्लेस कैसे होता है? अ नंबर ऑफ मिलिटरीली वीक और इकोनॉमिकली बैकवर्ड स्टेट्स जो इंडिपेंडेंट होती है, दे कम टुगेदर टू फॉर्म अ बिग एंड स्ट्रॉन्ग यूनियन. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द अमेरिकन फेडरेशन. तो अमेरिका में यही है दैट militarily and economically backward states, they may come together to form a strong center, right? So then that becomes a federal government when there is a clear cut division of powers between the federal government and the state governments, clear cut division of powers. In the second case जो ये तो हुआ इंटीग्रेशन से कैसे फेडरेशन बनता है. अब डिसइंटीग्रेशन से कैसे बनता है? जैसे कनाडा में बना, इंडिया में बना, ये डिसइंटीग्रेशन की एग्जांपल है. बिग यूनिटरी स्टेट is converted into a federation by granting autonomy to the provinces to promote regional interest. रीजनल इंटरेस्ट को प्रमोट करने के लिए ऑटोनॉमी इज ग्रांटेड टू द स्टेट्स. जैसे कि भारतवर्ष में भी ऐसे ही कि ऑटोनॉमी वाज ग्रांटेड बाय द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन टू द स्टेट्स टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट, राइट? सो and the same thing is there in the case of Canada. So Canada is an example of creation of a federation through disintegration. So is India, whereas America is example of creation of a federation through integration. Where US is the first and the oldest federation in the world, and it was formed in 1787 following the American Revolution, and it comprises 50 states and is taken as a model of federation. ध्यान रखने की बात क्या है, ओरिजिनली 13 स्टेट से थी अमेरिकन फेडरेशन. कैनेडियन फेडरेशन की जो बात करें तो इट कंप्राइजेस 10 provinces. Originally 4 provinces were there. Is also quite old. It was formed in 1867. And the Constitution of India provides for a federal system of government in the country, as we know, and we will discuss further. The framers of our Constitution adopted federal system because of two main reasons. एक तो large size of the country and socio-cultural diversity. Large size of the country, so means regional aspirations must also be satisfied. So regional autonomy is necessary. So only a federal form of government can provide that. And socio-cultural diversity is so immense that in order to retain a substantial part of it, it is necessary that a lot of regional autonomy and local powers are there, and that is possible only in a federation. And at the same time, the nation has to remain united. Then that is again possible only through federation, because confederation will not be able to survive. Then the federal system not only ensures the efficient governance of the country, but also reconciles national unity with regional autonomy. So this is important, that federalism is able to reconcile national unity with regional autonomy. However, the term federation has nowhere been used in our constitution. Instead, Article 1 of the Constitution describes India as a union of states. And that indicates two things: that the Indian Federation is not the result of agreement among the states, like the American Federation is, and the states have no right to secede from the Federation. मतलब states को संघ से अलग होने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है. The Federation is union because it is indestructible. Federation जो है वो union है हमारे यहाँ, क्योंकि Federation indestructible है. इसीलिए कहते हैं कि इंडियन सिस्टम जो है वो फेडरल सिस्टम है. इंडेस्ट्रक्टिबल यूनियन इज इंडेस्ट्रक्टिबल, बट स्टेट्स आर डिस्ट्रक्टिव, क्योंकि यूनियन को बहुत इनॉर्मस पावर्स है और वो स्टेट की बाउंड्री चेंज कर सकते हैं, और दो स्टेट्स को मिला करके एक स्टेट बना सकते हैं, एक स्टेट को स्प्लिट करके दो स्टेट्स भी बना सकते हैं, एंड दैट टू बाई सिंपल मेजॉरिटी इन इंडिया, राइट. तो हमारे यहाँ पे जो है वो इंडेस्ट्रक्टिबल फेडरल गवर्नमेंट, indestructible. with destructible units, that is the states. अमेरिका में क्या है, indestructible federal union, फेडरल गवर्नमेंट और यूनियन गवर्नमेंट, एंड indestructible स्टेट्स भी जो है वो इंडेस्ट्रक्टिबल है, इसीलिए वो आइडियल और ट्रू फेडरेशन का एग्जाम्पल माना जाता है. इंडियन फेडरल सिस्टम इज बेस्ड ऑन कनाडियन मॉडल, not on the American model. The Canadian model differs fundamentally from the American model of federation insofar as it establishes a very strong center, number one, and the Indian federation resembles Canadian federation because in its formation it is very much like that, by way of disintegration वो form हुआ है, and in its preference to the term union, क्योंकि Canadian federation भी union है, and in its centralizing tendency, vesting more powers in the center as compared to the states. अब इंडियन फेडरेशन की जो फेडरल फीचर्स है उनकी बात करते हैं कि फेडरल फीचर्स क्या क्या हैं. फेडरल फीचर्स ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, उसमें सबसे पहले ड्यूअल पॉलिटी आता है. दैट इज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एस्टेब्लिशेस ए ड्यूअल पॉलिटी. यूनियन पे अलग पॉलिटी है और स्टेट, यूनियन एंड द स्टेट. ड्यूअल मतलब दो पॉलिटीज है, यूनियन एंड द स्टेट, राइट. तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स भी हैं, वो अपने अपने क्षेत्रों में काम करते हैं, एंड द स्टेट्स आर एट द पेरिफेरी. Each is endowed with sovereign powers to be exercised in the field of assigned to them respectively by the constitution. जो उनके क्षेत्र हैं उनमें, उन क्षेत्रों में जो उनकी शक्तियां हैं उनका उपयोग करते हुए वो अपना कार्य करती है. सब्जेक्ट्स क्या हैं यूनियन और स्टेट्स के, यदि उसको हम देखें तो यूनियन के सब्जेक्ट्स लाइक डिफेंस, फॉरेन अफेयर्स, करेंसी, कम्युनिकेशन, जिनकी यूनियन गवर्नमेंट को नेशनल इंपॉर्टेंस के सब्जेक्ट्स से डील करने की ज़रूरत होती है, तो ये सारे वो सब्जेक्ट्स हैं. और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स जो होती हैं उनको रीजनल एंड लोकल इंपॉर्टेंस के सब्जेक्ट्स की ज़रूरत होती है, लाइक पब्लिक ऑर्डर, एग्रीकल्चर, हेल्थ, लोकल गवर्नमेंट, ये सब. पर समझने की बात क्या है कि जो एग्रीकल्चर है वो स्टेट लिस्ट का सब्जेक्ट है, लेकिन फिर जो एग्रीकल्चरल रिफॉर्म लॉज हैं यूनियन गवर्नमेंट ने क्यों बनाए, क्योंकि वो यहाँ बताया कि इसमें ऑल दो एग्रीकल्चर इज ए स्टेट लिस्ट सब्जेक्ट, बट ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स इन एंड प्रोडक्शन, सप्लाई एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ फूड स्टफ्स इंक्लूडिंग एडिबल ऑयल सीड्स एंड ऑयल्स, ये जो है कंकरेंट लिस्ट का सब्जेक्ट है, एंट्री नंबर 33B ऑफ द कंकरेंट लिस्ट. इस वजह से सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने एग्रीकल्चरल रिफॉर्म लॉज रिसेंटली इनेक्ट किए हैं, जो काफ़ी कंट्रोवर्शियल भी रहे, बट बेसिकली दे आर इंटेंडेड फॉर द वेलफेयर ऑफ द फार्मर्स इन जनरल. दैट यू कैन सी माई सेपरेट वीडियो ऑन दैट. द critical analysis of 3 farm laws is separately given there. This entry was substituted by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. This is also important to understand. फिर हमारे यहाँ रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है. द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज नॉट ओनली रिटन डॉक्यूमेंट बट ऑल्सो द लेंथीएस्ट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, जैसे कि हम जानते हैं. There is clear-cut division of powers. In our case, clear-cut division of powers. We have 3 lists, that is the union list, the state list and the concurrent list. सब में अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट्स हैं. जैसे यूनियन लिस्ट की बात करें 98 सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, ओरिजिनली 97 थे. स्टेट लिस्ट की बात करें तो 59 सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, ओरिजिनली 66 थे. एंड कंकरेंट लिस्ट की बात करें तो अभी 52 सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, ओरिजिनली 47 सब्जेक्ट्स थे. तो बोथ द सेंटर एंड द स्टेट्स कैन मेक लॉज इन देयर रेस्पेक्टिव एरियाज. वहाँ से हमारे यहाँ सुप्रीमेसी ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, so that if there is a conflict between the union and the states, with the help of constitution it can be resolved by the Supreme Court. Rigid constitution है which strengthens the federal feature of the constitution. Independent judiciary है which is one of the major federal features of our polity. Bicameralism है, we have Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha represents the states and therefore this bicameralism is a very important feature of federalism. फिर यूनिटरी फीचर्स भी हमारे यहाँ कई सारे, जैसे स्ट्रॉन्ग सेंटर है, जैसे कि हमने देखा कि सेंटर इज़ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग बिकॉज आउट ऑफ वे जाकर के ऑल इंपॉर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट्स आर देयर इन यूनियन लिस्ट एक्चुअली, एंड नंबर ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स इज मच मोर इन द यूनियन लिस्ट. तो ये रीज़न है कि सेंटर इज़ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. और भी रीजन्स हैं. एट टाइम्स सेंटर can legislate on a subject of the state list. In case if the Rajya Sabha passes a resolution under Article 249 by 2/3 of the members present and voting. States are not indestructible, they can be destroyed. New states can be created through amalgamation or split of the existing states. There is single citizenship throughout the nation. There is no dual citizenship. That citizenship of the federal government means national citizenship and state citizenship. As it happens in America, it is not there in India. The constitution is flexible, can be easily changed. So it is a unitary feature. No equality of state representation is there. Unlike America, where every state is sending 2 representatives to Senate. Emergency provisions are very extraordinary provisions, which render our system from federal to unitary. Single citizenship, I already told you, is a major factor which contributes to the unitary form of government. Integrated judiciary, our judiciary throughout is adjudicating both on central as well as state laws. We have integrated judiciary throughout, which is a major unitary feature. All India services, although its cadre controlling authority is with the central government, but their officers are assigned to the state. So their immediate control is with the state governments, but their ultimate control is with the central government. So here again, it is a unitary feature. Integrated audit machinery is there. Same C and AG is auditing the accounts of the union as well as the accounts of the states. And parliamentary authority over over the state list is there under certain circumstances. Parliament can make laws on the subjects of the state list. The appointment of governor is one of the major areas of debate and also a major area of controversy because he acts as an agent of the president or of the union executive. So that is a major area of concern. It's a big unitary feature that way. Integrated election machinery, the same election machinery is conducting elections to the Lok Sabha as well as to the state legislative assemblies or state legislatures in general. Veto over state list, president has got absolute veto power over the state bills which are reserved by the governor for the consideration of the president. So if we do a critical evaluation of our federal system, K.C. Vere, he has described the Constitution of India as quasi-federal. K.C. Vere. He remarked that Indian Union is a unitary state with subsidiary federal features, rather than a federal state with subsidiary union features. But many thinkers don't believe like that. Even K. Santhanam, he gave 2 factors that are responsible for increasing the unitary bias, like the dominance of the center in the financial sphere, number 1, and emergence of a powerful erstwhile planning commission, but which of course has now been replaced by Niti Aayog. But Niti Aayog also is, although it has a bottom-up approach of planning, but as far as its governance is concerned, finally Prime Minister is the chairman of the governing council. So other political scientists believe that the statement made by K.C. Vere is not completely true. Paul Appleby, he characterizes the Indian system as extremely federal. Boris Jones terms it as bargaining federalism, where the states bargain for the maximum benefits. Ivor Jennings, he has described this as a federation with a strong centralizing tendency. And Alexandrovich states India as a case of sui generis, that is unique in character. Granville Austin, he called the Indian federalism as cooperative federalism. And then the Supreme Court, after S.R. Bomai case of 1994, has also laid down that the Constitution is federal in characteristic, right? And characterized federalism as its basic feature. And it observed that the fact that under scheme of our Constitution, greater power is conferred upon the center vis-a-vis the states does not mean that the states are merely appendages of the center. They are not merely appendages. The states have an independent constitutional existence, and they are not mere satellites or agents of the center. within their own spheres allotted to them by the Constitution, the states are supreme. So that is the standing taken by the Supreme Court as regards the federal structure and nature of our polity. In fact, federalism in India represents a compromise between the following two conflicting considerations. Number one, normal division of powers under which the states enjoy autonomy within their own spheres and need for national integration and a strong union government under exceptional circumstances. So it's a reconciliation of the two divergent views. And now, what are the trends? What are the trends that indicate the federal nature of our political system? Territorial disputes between states, for example, between Maharashtra and Karnataka over Belgaum, disputes between the states over sharing of river water, like between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka over Kaveri water. These are examples of federalism because the states are asserting themselves, and there are territorial disputes and water sharing disputes between them, and the emergence of regional parties, particularly like the Telugu Desam party in Andhra Pradesh came into existence, and so forth and so on. And the creation of new states to fulfill the regional aspirations of the people, like the Mizoram, Jharkhand, a lot of states have been created. Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Uttarakhand, that all these states have been created to satisfy the regional aspirations of the people. Demand of the states for more financial grants to meet their development needs. That is a major, so to say, federal feature. Assertion of autonomy by the states and their resistance to interference from the center, and Supreme Court's imposition of several procedural limitations on the imposition of Article 356, that is President's rule on the state. So students, I wish and I hope that this was really helpful to you. And my name is Vishruta Bhinna, and you follow me on YouTube, and I wish you all the very best of success. So students, now let us have a look at some of the amazing offers with Unacademy is offering you as of now. I dream to make my country proud. Now we have several offers which are beneficial to you, which actually are coming to an end on 18th of this month. So it is high time that you subscribe to the 1-year program or 1-year plus program, 2-year or 3-year program on Unacademy platform for your civils preparation. And we have this freedom offer on plus UPSC combo. And here, 1-year subscription, you have 27,500 rupees off, 2-year subscription, rupees 40,000 off, and 3-year subscription, 52,000 off, plus free optional test series is available, plus free prelims and mains test series is available. So overall, what you stand to gain is something enormous, but then for that, you have to subscribe as early as possible before 18th of this month, that is before tomorrow. Now, Carnival optional Carnival is also going on, and it started on 18th of August, and it is also like partly going to start on 18th of August, partly it already started on 11th of August. 16 top optionals on 11th and 18th August you will have in this carnival, optional carnival. The ultimate test series combo is there. Now test series combo worth rupees 45,000, you get totally free for 1 year plus subscription. And 1 year subscription, you get to have, in fact, 5 products worth 2.3 lakh are being offered at 57.5 thousand only. This is an incredible offer which you should not miss out on. The mentorship days are already running, where merely by paying 2,000 rupees extra, you get the optional worth 27,500 rupees. And this is a great offer which is currently going on. Then comprehensive coverage till the mains you have for the 1 year subscription valid till mains 2022, and 2 year subscription is valid till mains 2023. Then CSE Assure is a great program we are offering from our side, that in case if you don't make it to civil service for 2 years, after having subscribed for 2 years, then third year we take it on ourselves, and you have the third year subscription for free. So this is a great offer, CSE Assure, you can avail of. Plus, like if you want loan from an academy, then at 0% interest rate, without any hidden charges, the loan is available for your course, and that too online, and that too like without taking much time. In no time this loan would be made available to you, and you can avail of our courses. Plus books worth 20 books worth rupees 10,000 are being offered for free for all 1 year plus subscriptions. And of course you get to have a great opportunity by winning scholarships up to 4 crores of rupees through UPSC Combat. In a UPSC Combat is a great program, and you can enroll for this every Sunday 11 a.m. and of course invite code you can use you can use my code VI10 for this purpose. VI10 is my referral code. If you use this code, you become entitled for 10% additional discount on all courses across the board. Aim for success in UPSC civil service examination with an academy, and we are also shortly going to launch new batches for 21, 22 and 23 aspirants. We are shortly going to launch, that is from 18th of August. And prelims and mains mission booster batches for UPSC civil services are there. Tamil batches we are going to start for the first time ever from 18th of August. Tamil batches for UPSC we are going to start. And then of course with Iconic and the Plus, you get to have number of benefits which are otherwise not available with merely Plus course. With Iconic, you have the personal guidance, study planner, study material, expert guidelines, test analysis, and all this is available in addition to the Plus course, merely for making an extra payment for it. So 60 days prelims courses are there. Now 45 days prelims crash course is also available for you. And so what I encourage you all students that you should join the courses on the Unacademy platform and avail of these great discounts which are currently going on for you. I wish you all the very best of success. Thank you.